Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to One Piece episode 1024. So, last time we finally finished up this, one of our subplots, this one with Chopper, and curing the Ice Oni situation. That situation is resolved. But we have a new situation going on with the Akazaya 9 being confronted by a fake Odin, who is... It's gotta be Kanjuro. Like, who else could it be? Who else could it be? Let's be honest. We do not have any knowledge of anyone else being able to do anything like this. And so, there's no reason or cause to believe it could be anything or anyone else. So, it's gotta be. Meanwhile, other fights are still going on within Onigashima, and I don't know if we're going to get certain focus on anything specific going forward at this exact moment, but yeah, things are just going as they're going. But, all of that being said, we're going to get right into this and hope for the best. See what we've got in store. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, no real look at the side fights or anything going on this episode. We kind of focused this time on the big 3 storylines currently going. One of which just started, mind you, but still. With Wano mostly being focused on what it has, these are definitely the main plot lines going on at the moment. You have other big stuff like the fights with the Straw Hats versus the various members of the Tobiropo and all. But those aren't like the big plot lines of this entire arc. When you have stuff like Roof Piece, obviously, being the big climactic battle of Wano, that's obvious. It's kind of the main plot line right now. But then you also have Yamato and Shinobu protecting Momonosuke. As we know, Momo is the rightful heir to the title of Shogun in Wano. And because of this, we know that Momo is basically going to take over after all of this is done. Meaning the protection of him by Yamato, who has become an exceptionally major character, being not only the son of our main villain, Kaido, but also being a strong admirer of Odin, who everything in this arc revolves around, it just shows his importance. So him protecting Momonosuke, along with Shinobu, who was basically on the level of retainer without ever having taken the title. It's clearly one of the main plot points currently going on during the raid of Onigashima. And then, of course, we have our new one. We have the Akazaya 9 being confronted by the fake Odin. And this one just got started last episode and, like, really got started this one. But this is obviously important because, again, everything in this arc has revolved around Odin and his legacy. The Akazaya Nine, I mean, especially Kinemon, are kind of the reason we're here. Like, this is all built into this. Like, sure, you could say Luffy would have probably come here anyways to take on Kaido as it was, but the reason why this entire arc has pretty much gone as it has, and we got all the backstory and everything, everything connects to meeting Kinemon back on Punk Hazard. So, obviously, the Akazaya Nine and a fake Odin suddenly appearing are going to be major. So, we see that they are fooled at first, but because of what he says, because of what Odin says regarding Toki and her being dead, it's like, again, he could possibly have found out. If he was sent in the future as well, he could have possibly found out that she had died. But things, it allowed it to click within Ashura and Raizo's minds that something about this is off. And because of that, they were able to realize that this has to be a fake. That because of Odin's own words and everything, that there's no way this Odin can be real. So they were able to see through it and able to help their fellow samurai see through it eventually after Ashura attacked the fake Odin, revealing that he doesn't bleed and that he must be a drawing. Though that was figured out by Denjiro, specifically. But, unfortunately, this allowed Kanjuro, controlling the fake Odin, of course, to impale Ashura through the chest. And with Ashura's already injured body, and with as grievous of a wound as that is, I'm worried that Ashura Doji, that wound is fatal. I can fully believe that not all of the Akazaya Nine will make it out of this arc alive. And it looks like Ashura is going to be probably the first one. I just feel like, yeah, they could make it so that he survives this. Oda could do that. But at the same time, I think this arc has been actually pretty phenomenal with meaningful deaths. It has given multiple characters some meaningful deaths, has even showcased characters prior to their meaningful deaths, such as Ace, allowing their deaths to actually have more meaning than they did before. But that seems to have been a big theme during this arc. And it's not even just through flashbacks and stuff. Like, we've even experienced stuff in the current day, like with Yasui. So I think it would kind of work for this arc for Oda to include that again with at least a couple members of the Akazaya Nine. And I don't want to believe that it's going to happen. I don't. I would hope that they would all survive, but I don't think it's going to happen. With how this arc has been set up, how this arc's gone, I think that at least one or two of them has to die. It's just, this arc has been done in a way, and the threat has been handled in such a way to where not all of them, I feel, can make it out. As much as I would love them to. The question is, if Ashura does die, who else would who else would? Would it be one of the leaders of Zoe? Would it be Raizo? Would it be, As long as it's not fucking Kiku. And I really fucking doubt it would be Kinemon. Kanjuro, I'm not counting him because he's not a member of the Akazaya 9 anymore. I'm counting only the ones who are still there. As long as it's not Kiku. Because I just don't want Kiku to die. She's one of my favorites of the series, honestly. So yeah, as long as it's not her. She already lost an arm. Let her just... Let's leave it at that, please. But yeah, that's pretty much all of this episode was. Just those 3 plot lines and showcasing the further continuation of them. The biggest thing that came from them was during the Yamato and Momo and Shinobu one, where Momo was able to tell what was going on with Luffy, despite not being anywhere around him. And again, this has to connect with the fact that he heard Zunisha back on Zoe. It has to be him hearing the voice of all things, that kind of thing. Just like Luffy did on Fishman Island. Male person's here. So it's got to be connected to that. Because how else would he know? How else would he be able to tell? This is something that we have been set up for, so it's not coming out of nowhere. So yeah, it's gotta be. But I'm definitely interested to see where it all goes. We find out also another big thing. We did get a tiny little bit of Cypher Pull Zero, but they weren't really focused on it. It was basically just to exposit a single bit of information. And that was a really big deal, mind you. We find out that the smile fruit that Momo ate back on Punk Hazard was created from the blood, the actual DNA of Kaido. And that it was considered a failure. But obviously, clearly was not. And is probably going to come into noticeable play at some point because of that. But yeah, so that's why Momo is also a dragon with this fake smile fruit. Because it was literally created by using Kaido's blood. They tried to basically manufacture Kaido's devil fruit. And just imagine a bunch of Kaidos rampaging around the world. That would be horrifying. So, yeah, it's a good thing that they thought it was fake. But it's going to be interesting to see where things go from here. Either way, we'll cover that as we go. Tell me in the meantime, what did you think of this episode of One Piece? And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.